billions of EU assistance going to Ukraine are not free, they're loans, which Ukraine will default on, and they come with neoliberal strings attached.
I just wanted to let everybody know that in Section 19, subsection 2, A through I, is outlined the NATO policy for non-NATO member states as regards to military aid. NATO is not allowed to put soldiers in the field during a conflict in which one party is not a NATO member. What they can do is rent or sell munitions to one or other of the parties, and they can rent the time of their military to train the military of said country. And in the end, they receive payment for all of that, no matter how long it takes. There's countries that have been paying the UN for 20 years for their assistance in war zones. So make sure that you understand that the goals of NATO are not altruistic, they're financial.
If you listen to the economists, Ukraine is marked for a nightmare round of shock therapy, a sell-off of public land, deregulation of labour, sale of public assets, on it goes. The country's future is being sold to finance a proxy war that's tearing it apart.
That's what it is. War is profit. Everyone was fine with the things that Ukraine did to its own citizens who happened to be of Russian descent from 2014 to 2020 without any opposition, and in that time they were threatened with sanctions. In fact, they were in big trouble in 2014 when they agreed to stop the hostility, which they didn't do. It just bought them a couple more years to arm Kiev more so that they could have a war that was probably planned by the WEF and all of their little cronies decades ago.
And of course the loans have preconditions that Ukraine must uphold democracy and rule of law, but since the tap was turned on, Zelensky has banned most opposition parties, shuttered the media, attacked trade unions and workers' rights, but the billions keep flowing.
And actually it's something that Stephen Harper spoke out about when he decided not to sign the Paris Accord. And at that point, Canada became a non-Security Council member of the United Nations. That was the punishment that was doled out to Stephen Harper for not agreeing with the WEF mandates.
This is a country, our Court of Auditors have said, was a country accused of grand corruption. And on it goes while the EU policy seems designed to prevent peace and keep the war going at all costs as long as ordinary people pay. So between Russian tanks and European banks, there will be little left of Ukraine when this is over. Don't forget, war is a racket and there's going to be hell to pay for this one.
Let that sink in a little bit. And think twice when you think about what this war in Ukraine is. Think twice before you decide that this is a war of liberation. The war of liberation was Russia taking back regions that were taken from it in 1991, when everybody capitalized on the fall of the Soviet Union to wage a Russophobic anti-Russia war, a political war that went on for years. Now, there were agreements made that NATO wouldn't come that close to Russia, that Russia wouldn't go west if NATO didn't go east. It was not Russia who breached that agreement. And what did NATO say when that was posed to them? It wasn't in writing. That's your altruism. That's your altruism. Somebody who says, oh, well, I only said it, I didn't write it, so no takesies, backsies, and I'll do what I want. That's who you want. That's who you want representing you, right? A scumbag like that. Somebody who goes back on their word. It's not a James Bond movie, okay? All of that Cold War propaganda that they fed you was not accurate. It was fucking Hollywood. Use your own fucking brain.